The fog hangs low over the road. The asphalt is cracked and slowly being reclaimed by nature. This place has not been a town for a long time. Once, thousands of people lived here. Families lived their daily lives here. Parents went to work and children walked to school along these streets. It looked like an ordinary small town. Then something began to change. Not suddenly, not dramatically, just slowly. One family left, then another, then an entire street. The houses remained, but the people grew fewer each year. In the end, almost no one was left. What remains are not ruins, just traces of a town that once stood here. For years, life here followed the same rhythm. The town grew slowly, shaped by the coal mines beneath it. Work was steady, families stayed for generations. The ground beneath their homes was part of daily life. Then, in the early 1960s, a small fire was started. At first, it didn't seem important. Just another fire, in a town used to living with coal and smoke. But this one did not go out. It moved slowly beneath the surface, through old tunnels, through the coal seams that ran under the town. Most people didn't see it. They only noticed small changes. Windows stayed closed more often. The air never felt completely clean. Warm ground in the winter, faint smoke rising from the earth. A smell that never quite disappeared. At first, people tried to live with it. The smoke was strange, but it was distant. The ground felt warmer in certain places. Sometimes the air carried a faint smell of burning. But life went on. Shops stayed open. Children still walked to school. Families stayed in the homes they had always known. Then the signs became harder to ignore. Smoke began to rise from the ground in unexpected places. Cracks appeared in the streets. Some people grew worried. Others chose to stay. This was their home. Their families had lived here for years. Leaving was not an easy decision. But slowly, the town began to change. One house was abandoned, then another, and the spaces between the people grew wider. Over time, it became clear that the fire was not going to stop. It moved quietly beneath the town, slowly but constantly. Engineers tried to contain it. Different solutions were attempted. But nothing worked for long. The ground grew more unstable. Smoke appeared in new places, and the air was no longer the same. Some families chose to leave on their own. Others stayed, hoping things would return to normal. But the town was changing in ways no one could ignore. Eventually, the decision was made to relocate the people who still lived here. Houses were emptied, streets grew quieter, shops closed one by one. What had once been a busy town began to fall apart. Not all at once, just slowly, year by year. Today, very little remains of the town that once stood here. Many of the houses are gone. The streets lead to empty spaces where homes once stood. Nature has slowly taken back what was left behind. In some places, smoke still rises from the ground. The fire is still burning, deep beneath the surface. A few people refused to leave. They stayed as the town grew quieter around them. Even as neighbors moved away and buildings disappeared, for them, this was still home. But for most, Centralia became a place they once lived, not a place they could return to. What remains now is space, silence, and memory. A town that slowly slipped away, but never fully disappeared. Today, the road still leads here. Grass grows where houses once stood. The town exists mostly in memory now, but beneath the ground, the fire continues to burn. Quietly, out of sight. It may burn for decades more, long after the last traces of the town have faded. Centralia was not destroyed in a single moment. It was slowly left behind, a place where people once lived their lives, now reduced to space, silence, and the marks of what used to be.